Just like that, we are back. That's recording. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Full Circus. It is no longer spooky, but my name is still Tristan Sartoris, and I am still so happy to have you guys here with me today. What is going on, man? It is a new month. It's a new time. It's a new season. We're pushing ourselves out of the spooky world and just kind of beginning to embrace the seasonal changes and whatever that may be and whatever that unfolds to. Some people are listening to Christmas music. And some people despise it, and some people are so against it they hate everything that has to do with Christmas until it's December 24th. Like what I said with Halloween in the fall, do you? Ain't nobody gonna tell you how you can or cannot live your life and when you can or cannot listen to particular music or put up decorations or begin to enjoy yourself. There's only 365 days a year. So, gosh dang it, if anyone's gonna tell me how I can't spend one of those. Okay, so I'm going to do exactly how I want to. And I felt good, man. I felt good about this Halloween. I think I did a lot of fun things. I embraced the spooky season for as long as I could and as powerful and as passionate as could be. And it's, whoops, I just freaking hit my, the chair going down button. But anyways, yeah, I had a good time, and I'm glad with the way I spent it, and I'm glad I didn't waste any time or any seconds getting into it, because at the end of it, it actually got pretty stressful, to be completely honest. Is this center? I don't know, I'm starting to feel like I sound like I'm nasally or something. I hope I'm not getting sick. But anyways, yeah, we had this whole Halloween set, and everything was great and grand, and with all these fun, spooky projects, as the season was unwinding, it was coming to an end. Dude, I got so stressed out, okay? And I'm feeling better now, but I'm going to try and put myself back into the headspace that I was in so that I can tell you the story from an accurate point of view, okay? So, like we know, the whole set, this whole thing was dressed to the nines. I spent a lot of money I didn't really have to go around and do that, so I was a week before the podcast. Not every week, probably about 3 days. I'm going out and I'm buying all this stuff for the podcast because I got to get it ready. Now, at the same time that I'm trying to plan this podcast out, write things, get things, I'm like, what am I going to dress up as? All the podcast itself was already like, it's crunch time here. I have a few days, and this is my Graceland, right? This is my Super Bowl of the podcast. This is the biggest, most theatrical design we're going to have of the year. So I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself to try and make it great. And at that same time, I had not finished the script for this Halloween drama I was going to do. And like I said, it was only supposed to be 20 minutes, ended up being 2 hours. So I'm writing pages, crunch time. Meanwhile, I'm trying to make sure all of this happens. So I've got 2 projects, that's 4, 2 projects going on at the same time. So I'm like, I got to record the podcast early. So I'm going out, I'm buying all these things. And at the same time, I'm waking up at like 6 a.m. so I can record lines with people throughout the day. I'm like, we got to go through them because they have time. They don't have time, but they have a little bit of time and they're willing to lend it to me. I'm so grateful. Thank you again to everybody. And they didn't know what they were getting into. So I'm trying to record these lines and eventually I get everything done. And it's about 2 days, okay, before I wanted to release this thing and when I wanted to release this podcast. They were supposed to come out in tandem. But anyways, yeah, so against all odds, I go through and I do this whole show. I put the whole freaking script on the back burner because I got to take care of this. This, guys, this is my number one priority right here. Full Circus. So I get dressed up in the old Ace Ventura getup and I make the set beautiful and glorious, and you better believe I returned all that crap and got my money back. But then as soon as that podcast ended, and the whole week was kind of like just stressful. I'm trying to allocate time properly. And I had to stop eating, not because I wasn't hungry, but because I was like, you know what? Healthy meals, that's got to go. I got to eliminate some things from my equation, and my Greek yogurt diet, that has to go on. So immediately I just buy a giant 2-pound bag of peanut M&Ms. I'm like, well, listen, podcast is out. Let's get to work. I don't have time to go making meals. I wasn't really sleeping again, not because I wasn't tired, because I was like, I'm in crunch time. I edit the first chapter of that thing, and it takes about 10 hours. And I realized that if that is going to be the structure, if that is the control group of what is to come, I've got 70 hours left of this story I got to make. Now, there was only about 36 hours left until Halloween. So I was sleeping maybe 3 or 4 hours a night. And I wasn't eating good at all. And about 2 days before Halloween, I missed the deadline. I didn't post it with the podcast. We know that. We know this. Respectoplasm. So I post the thing, and I'm getting stressed out right now. I'm like, you know what? Nothing else matters. Thank God I have nothing to do this whole weekend. I'm just going to put the time in. I'm going to edit and record, because I still had all my lines to do because I was recording about it. Doesn't matter. Dynamic-wise, I was still doing mine. I'm recording mine. I'm trying to edit. I'm like, I have nothing to do this whole time all day. I wake up. Again, 3 hours of sleep, nothing but breakfast except for peanut M&Ms. And I'm trying to get into my stressful mindset, but I'm feeling good right now, so it's hard, and you don't really want to go back there. But I'm trying to explain it to you, okay? So I wake up early, and I immediately come right back down here. I'm typing, just nothing but peanut M&Ms, and I'm stressed out. I'm really falling behind, and immediately the first hurdle comes out of nowhere. My mom's like, hey, someone's going to come drop off a package at our house. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that sounds great. I'll make sure I'll control the dog if he barks too loud. She's like, no, can you go wait at the door because they want to say hi to you? I'm like, oh, yeah, but could you give me like a 2-minute warning or something? Because I'm really trying to, I have no chance, really, unless I don't do anything at all. Then I can maybe make it happen. She's like, no, well, consider this a 2-minute warning because they're on their way right now. So I go up there, and I'm waiting 5-10 minutes pass by, and I'm like, what's going on? What are these people? I'm talking to my mom, and then she's not answering for a few minutes, and then it's 15, 20 minutes pass, and she answers like, I don't know, they were supposed to be there already. So she starts texting them, but that person's not responding to them. They want to say hi to me. Now I'm still waiting up here because my mom needs me to say hi to these people when they drop off their package. Now 35 or 40 minutes go by. I'm sitting up here alone, antsy, waiting. I just need to go back downstairs. My mom texts me back, oh, looks like they didn't even knock on the door. They didn't want to see you that bad. They just left the package and skedaddled. So immediately, I lost just about an hour of my time out of the day, okay? Look, we only had about 36 left. I've got 35 now. I come downstairs, and my aunt calls me, and I remember that I had to go onto this dinner event thing because my mom couldn't go, so I got to go into her place, but times have changed for me, and I was a little stressed out, and she's like, oh, yeah, we're going to do this thing. So we talked for a good 30 minutes, kind of going over this thing, and I was already a little bit stressed out, and I remembered that I had to go to this dinner, right? So immediately, instead of getting right back into the event, I go to shower and get ready and get prepared. And then she's also like, hey, well, it's a murder mystery event, so it's like an improv show. And in my head, I'm thinking, whose line is it anyway? So I'm like, I've got so many, like, my brain is opening up. I don't know if I can handle another level of, like, do I need to be ready to improv, or do I need to start categorizing some ideas in case things go some other way? Are they going to pull me up? And I'm like, well, we'll see. Subtly trying to hint that I don't really want to do it. And then she's like, well, I already told him that, my nephew was an actor and they're coming. Now, spoiler alert, I did go there. It was nothing like I thought it was. They gave you a script, and it was kind of just whatever. But in my head, I was thinking, I'm going to an actual improv group, an improv class, or whatever this is going to be. I will not be ready, so I'm stressed out about it, but it's too late. Things been handled. Now I've got the improv, I've got the shower, I've got the time that's wasted, I still have this project that I'm trying to get to, so immediately I go right back down. I'm showered, I'm like, fine, you know what? I have a couple hours left of this day before I have to go to this thing. I'm going to get right back into it. So I get about 3 seconds into editing this thing again. And my brother calls, hey, we're working on the freaking house right now. They're trying to do this whole foundation project. Like, you're supposed to be bringing us pizza, bringing us some stuff. Because, they had to do all the work. I was allowed to stay home and do whatever. So they didn't need me. And immediately they're like, yeah, but can you bring us food, though? I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm guess whatever. Now I got to go take care of this because I got to make sure that I'm, contributing as well as I can as a family member, even though I wish I could be taking care of my stuff at the time being. So I go to get some pizza, and I go to the freaking Little Caesars or whatever, and immediately hot and ready is not hot and ready. It's slow and steady, okay? It's cold and steady. And I'm sitting behind this car waiting. Someone goes by, and he's like not giving me the pizza because he's talking to some person across the parking lot. He's like, hey, what are you doing for Halloween? He's like, I don't know. I'm just going to be closing. I'm like, guys, come on. Listen, I'm not usually this impatient, okay? I can understand that seconds and minutes are not the difference in life, but to me right now, we are at the crucial crunch time. So I'm like, come on. And he finally gives me the pizza, and Carl's like, hey, can you get us a 2-liter and some cups as well? So I'm like, oh, great. I don't have cups. So I zip over to Dollar Tree, right? Because who doesn't love a Dollar Tree and a cheap little pack of cups? I go through there, I grab the cups, and immediately, dude, I notice they only have one register open, and I'm stuck behind 3 people that are getting costumes, and guess how many items they have? 93, dude! And you think that's an exaggeration, but they told me it was about $111, and I'm just kind of getting the average. It's a dollar store, so they were somewhere in the ballpark, and it felt like I was counting because it was about 15 minutes I was sitting behind just waiting. All I had was one little thing. So Dollar Tree, get yourself a self-scanner, do something. I was like, oh my gosh, seconds into my brain. I could feel myself, the more stress just building. I could hear the time, like tick, tick, tick. I could hear ticking on a clock from freaking 4 miles away. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm developing a twitch here. And as soon as it's my turn, the register beside me opens up. Bring, hey, I can take next. And the lady behind me dashes over. I'm like, it's fine. You've been waiting just as long as I stay over. Like, I'm up next anyways. So immediately I go, we check out. I'm like, okay, thank God I'm driving. So I drive all the way and I give them the pizza. I'm like, okay, I'm not really making any progress, right? I've spent about 3 hours so far of this day that I had 36. I'm already burned through 3, and I have to go through this dinner. So immediately I begin to drive back home in the van, knowing I'm just going to be able to set the van right. I'm going to back it in so I can peel out, get to this dinner as fast as possible. I get a text from my mom. Hey, I'm actually going to need Nick to have the van so he can pick me up later tonight. So you're going to be able to take your car. Now, why this sucks is that my car had a current flat tire because there's a slow leak in it. So I see my car, and I'm like, oh, crap. I'm going to have to go get air. Okay, now air is freaking over across town. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to have to leave probably about 15 minutes earlier than I expected because I have to go get this tire of air full. So I do. I edit what I can. I leave 15 minutes earlier. I go to get air, and as soon as I arrive there, what do I see but an out of air sign? They're out of order. And I don't understand that. In what world does it make sense that you can be out of air? Did this freaking machine have asthma? I have no idea. But I couldn't get my tires pumped. Now I'm riding on rims across town to the other place where you can get air. And I go and get there, and I'm stressed out. I'm freaking, and I'm trying to put everything behind me, right? I'm trying to look at myself in the mirror and the little driver thing. I'm saying, listen, Tristan, it's going to be okay. We're going to just try and figure it out. Hours are ticking. You really have done nothing. This was your like big last day to try and make a lot of progress, and you haven't done anything, dude. So I'm like driving, and immediately I have to poop, dude. I have to go to the bathroom, and I've had to go poop for so long, but I didn't feel like I had the time to do it. It's probably because of all the freaking peanut M&Ms, and it becomes that point where you have to poop so long that it's almost like I have to have pooped my pants before. Like right now, like I can't feel it. I don't think I crap my pants, but mathematically and logically, I'd have to think that I've been holding it for so long, it had to have happened. It's already out, but yet I still felt like I needed to go, so I've got to poop. And stress is coming in, and I'm developing a twitch, and I'm getting nervous, and I'm driving. I drive a freaking 15, 20 minutes or however far this freaking thing is. After I get in my air, I go there, and I show up, and immediately my aunt's like, I've never seen you like this before, because I don't get stressed out often, right? I don't. That's not my character. I'm really good at freaking crunching it down and processing and feeling good. But, you know, for me, usually my ticket, my meditation, my slow down process is talking to me, 1v1, right? I need myself. And I was trying to do that in the freaking rear view mirror, but it's hard to when you're driving, like, hey buddy, just checking in, you know, but I didn't have a lot of myself. I'm my own guy. So I couldn't really do that. And I show up and it's like, what's wrong with you? What's going on? My grandmother, they're all confused. What is this guy? He's talking a lot fast. I'm talking kind of like I remember now, except I'm not actually stressed right now. I'm just trying to interpret how this scene was playing out. So anyways, I get there. I'm stressed out. I'm trying to put everything behind, and it's all fine. It's well and good. And I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom, and I freaking crap. Yeah, just nice and great. And you know, I tell you what, sometimes you're just only one crap away from a good day, and that wasn't entirely the case, but it did make me feel a little better. And then I went to the mirror, right? And I got to the mirror, and like I said, dude, I'm my own thing. That is, some people like a bubble bath, some people like roses, some people have a lot of bad habits and the ways that they deal with stress. I am my habit, okay? This is what I need. I need my face, I need my eyes, I need my voice, I need to be with me, okay? It doesn't mean I need to be alone, I need to be with myself. I am my own best friend. It's some sort of weird, twisted, self-fulfilling cycle of optimistic behavior. I'm my own guardian angel, basically. You know, thank you, Jesus. I have to assume it has something to do with that, because when I see it, I'm like, I find comfort in me, okay? And I mean that in the least narcissistic way possible, okay? But I see myself, I'm like, dude, you look good, you look sweet, you look handsome, you sound great. I want to give you a hug, man. I feel good. And I check in, and sometimes it's out loud, sometimes it's not. But I'm like, hey, buddy, how's it going? I'm like, well, you know how it's going, dude. It's not going great at all. I thought we were going to crush this. I thought we were going to pull it off. And he's like, yeah, I know. But what more can you do, right? I was like, I just feel like, he's like, stop. You are doing everything you can do. You know that, right? I'm like, yeah, I know, but and he kind of cuts me off because this is the powerful, comforting voice that I have deep in me. It's got to be my guardian angel, right? It's got to be the Lord, the Holy Spirit talking through me. It's like, listen, you are doing everything you possibly can, and then some, and you're putting a detriment to your health and more just to try and get this thing. So there is no way that you are not doing everything you freaking can to get this done. You're not slacking off. You haven't done anything fun in like 3 days, okay? You've just been going. What is the worst that could possibly happen, okay? Does the fate of the world rely on this project? I'm like, no. I'm like, yeah. So the worst case scenario, maybe you upload it after Halloween. I'm like, yeah, that would suck because I'm trying to get it done. This whole thing was about to be about the spooky season. I get it. You want to get it happen, but the facts are the facts, okay? You don't really have enough time to make this happen, okay? You're out right now at a murder mystery that, another spoiler, it's going to be about 5 or 6 hours. I'm going to be out late at night. It's going to take another drive back home. There's no real chance for you, okay? Now, maybe you pull it off, maybe you can't, but what are you really doing? And why are you going to be so hard on yourself and feel like you can't take care of business? Because you really are. You're doing everything you can, man. I'm like, well, thanks. He's like, okay. So just breathe, take a beat, and understand where you are in the world, that, all you can really do is control what you're controlling, and maybe even that, dial it back, because you are giving everything you have, and it's not worth it. You're not being paid. It's not a critical thing. It is just your own fun passion project. And he's like, well, why does it matter so much? And I was like, well, maybe people aren't going to watch it because after Halloween. He's like, well, what, are we doing this for views? Or are you doing this because it's fun for you? And I was like, well, it's fun. It's for us. He's like, yeah, exactly. You think I don't know that? I'm you, dummy. Okay, I know all the good things that you're going through. I know how to process what your mind's thinking. So let's dial it back, home slice. I'm like, thanks, brother. And we dap up and we kind of hug it out, and immediately someone else is in the stall. I'm like, what? Who is that? Are there two twins in here? Because I was talking out loud. And I come back out into this freaking murder mystery den. Big exhale, and it was too late. I had already missed the whole improv kind of chance or whatever to get into the thing. But either way, I felt like a breath of fresh air. I've dissected, and I felt good, and that's basically everything that had happened. Let me check if there's anything I missed. I didn't write my notes good at all. I can't read it. But yeah, I think that's everything. I was so in the moment, dude. I was so freaking bananas. It's like, when they say you feel everything is slow down. It was not that. Everything sped up so fast, and I couldn't keep up with anything, dude. It was like time was just going so fast. I could put a Hot Pocket in the microwave, and boom, 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 just like that, it would be done, which is not usually the case. So anyways, yeah. The stress had been relieved for the most part. I mean, what could be? I wasn't stressed anymore. I still wanted it to be done, but having that little talk with myself made me realize that and we're just here to do the spookiness. We're here to just embrace it. So, like I was just saying, there's only 365 days. Am I going to spend these ones just completely stressed out of my mind? That's not how I like to live. So that is why I'm usually not stressed, because no matter how bad things get, I have me, and me knows me unlike anybody else. He's like, listen, we're going to talk through this, and we're going to get through it, and I know exactly what you need to hear and what you need to be. And I'm like, you're right, dude. You're right. And that's why we're so good at what we do, dude. We're good at what we do. So yeah, stress was relieved, and yeah, it was an exciting time nonetheless. Because at least I can look back on it like, holy crap, was he the Flash? Is he running a race? What is the I'm through the aisles. So yeah, then I went to the murder mystery thing, and I had a good time. It was definitely interesting. My grandma took off early, and my aunt was like, listen, I know you got to go do this thing. If you need to take off and go take care of it, I was like, it's fine. It's going to be what's going to be. Myself said so. I can be here. And my cousin was playing in the play as well, and I wanted to stay there, and I wanted to be there for him. So we watched this whole thing, and what I didn't realize about murder mysteries going into it, or what this thing, it was like a 95 and up club. So I don't think there was anyone like within 60, 70 years of my age. Which is great though. So a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, old people. Which is, I don't know why that was an older voice, but I think even old people don't really like old people. Like, oh, old people. But I love old people. My aunt's like, you're gonna get out of here. Where are we? And I'll tell you why I love old people. Okay, because 1 and 2. And 3, dude, all 3 reasons, is really just because they can't hear so well. So they're constantly saying, can you speak up? Can you be a little louder? I'm like, oh, thank God, these are my people. Everyone else is like, Tristan, quiet down a little bit. And they're like, hey, what'd you say? Can you just say it a little louder? I'm like, yes, I can. And I'm excited because I can be as enthusiastic and as fun as out of the box as I want, and they're like, I can still barely hear them. So it's great, and then there's also the slight, elderly confusion and things that happen. So we were at this murder mystery, and it was like a play within a play is what was happening, and that's really hard to explain to somebody that's 80 or whatever. Because you're like, oh, well, the person died in the scene, but they were actually trying to figure out who did it outwards. Like, so, in real life? And it's like, no, not in real life. It's like, but so this actually did happen, though. No, like, out of the scene, like, not in the play. Someone actually died. Do we need to call it? And like, no. Sue, we need to take a beat, okay? No one died. It is all part of the play. And they still couldn't really understand it. It got super meta, and I was talking to my aunt. I was like, I don't know, like, what to do. My aunt tried to explain it too, and I was like, just give it up, bail, because they're not gonna, some things you just can't really comprehend unless you have a sheet of paper to, I couldn't teach whatever this was. I don't know, some sort of quantum mechanics to explain to them. But yeah, they weren't really getting it, but they were so fun and they were great. And you guess, like a murder mystery, so everyone has certain clues and you try and pick out who did what and what happened. And it was the nun who did it, and I knew this from Jump Street as soon as it watched. My original guess before the play even started, I was like, it's the doctor, but I was just trying to be silly. But as soon as the play started, I was like, it's the nun. I mean, look at the way she walks, whatever. There was a lot of clues, and I'm a detective. I had one of those hats with the front bill and the back bill, Sherlock Holmes. And yeah, so anyways, I'm like, it's the nun. They're like, no, it's not the nun. I believe it's a person. I was like, Sue, you don't even understand what the play is. You think someone actually died. I'm trying to persuade them because I want our team to be right. It's a table, collective group effort, and I'm getting passionate about this thing. I'm like, Sue, we know darn well the nun did it. Look at the guilt on her face. Of course she didn't want her husband around. She didn't want this, and she was upset because she'd have to deal with this lady for as long as possible. And then eventually I convinced them, fine, we're gonna put the nun on the paper and submit that in, and and we get it right, dude, magically. Who knew? And they're like, wow, how'd you come up with the nun thing? She's like, well, Sue gave us this answer. I was like, Sue was way out. Sue wasn't even in the ballpark, Mary Ann. Okay, I've been saying it was the nun this whole time, and I didn't say that. I was like, Sue, you're a genius, Sue. Great job. So it was a good, fun little swell time, and yeah, old people are the best, dude. They're so great, man. They're so great. Talkative old people, grumpy old people, not great, but grumpy anyone sucks, right? But like just old people that are just willing to talk and have fun, especially with my goofy nature, where she's like, oh, I don't want that salad anymore. She put up plate. I was like, I can get you some more. I can go get you back. And just being silly, and they're easy to make laugh, and it's a lot of fun for me. So it was good, and they were talking about a movie as well. They talked about another murder mystery. Oh, because they didn't understand the ending either. Even though we got it right, they were still like, but who was it? But who wasn't? She's raising her hand trying to ask. I'm like, it was the nun. We got we got it right. Everything was okay. And also we just watched the whole murder mystery thing play out. I'm like, oh wow, she did it. But I think it was the whole metaverse of it being super like a film within a film and a scene and a play, and they just couldn't keep up. But anyway, so they were talking about how they didn't understand the play, then they came up with another movie that they didn't understand, and then my aunt's trying to talk to him and dissect that, thinking that she's going to be able to ask the right questions or something. I don't know. I don't know what, what she was thinking, what kind of answer she was going to get out of her. So she's like, well, how do you know she didn't die? And what this? And so immediately 4 seconds into her, like, taking this movie review apart and asking them who was this, they couldn't remember the names of any of the characters or the characters or who they were related to or what the thing was. And I was like, well, no wonder they didn't understand who did it. And then I looked it up, and it said that the movie was not open-ended as well, and they were upset, and they were going to write a letter to the author. So if I could find them again, I'd love to just help them out and make sure that they know who died and why he did it, and who was killed in the end. But anyways, yeah, it was definitely a great experience, man. So if you've never been to a murder mystery, definitely go try that, and make sure it's on senior night, and not like high school or college, because they're fun people. I love them. It's so great, man. Or there could have been bad tables. I have no idea. These might have just been unicorns of old people. But they were beautiful. They were special, and I appreciate the time. I was really glad to have such a unique opportunity. What else happened? Oh yeah, after that, so the plays ended and whatever, and people are talking about how I didn't guess it right. I didn't know it was gonna be the now. Like, the details were, the proof was in the pudding. And maybe that's not fair, but old people love pudding, so if anything, they should have gotten that. But anyways, I feel like I'm getting a little bit off track, because doing that, reenacting that stressful, or my mental processing earlier in the show is really taking a toll on me. It kind of put me in a bad headspace. But yes, we went through the whole murder mystery. Stress has kind of been eliminated. It's going to be what it's going to be. And the murder mystery thing ends, and people didn't really get it, but we got it. We got it good, and, thanks to Sue. And we're packing up, and immediately the lady who runs the whole thing, that my aunt was like, hey, this is my nephew, and he acts and whatever, and she's like, oh, you're an actor. And then she's like, I was like, yeah, well, I do, and I love your whole thing. I'm just being nice, The play was fine. It was great. My cousin Liam killed it, did a great job. I've never even seen a soap opera or any of these dramas before, but the way he was composing and playing this music for it, I almost went home and watched General Hospital or The Days of Our Lives or something else. I don't know that many. Is General Hospital even a soap opera? I have no idea. Let me watch my program, Shani. So anyways, yeah, so we're talking, and I'm like, yeah, I love the murder mystery thing. It was great. I'm just being nice, because that's what you do. You make people feel good. You uplift. That's my nature. And she's like, oh, you think so? Well, you're an actor. Maybe you should try out. I was like, oh, probably not. She's like, do an Irish accent for me. I was like, what? Top of the morning to you, laddie. How do you doing there, boy? Yeah, just out in the garden. My Irish accent isn't great, but what do you do? What do you do when someone says, hey, this is my actor nephew? And she's like, oh, do an accent for me. I'm like, what? Where am I? What just happened? Sue, I need you. Come back. Sue was my comfort blanket, and she's gone now. Not like she's still living, but I just don't know where she's at. But anyways, yeah, so that was, it was like, it's just these fun little moments. And the whole night was like that, where every interaction is almost like, this is so silly and fun, but where am I? Like, this isn't actually real life. This is someone else was writing a script, and then I just jumped into someone else's dream. I was like, what the? None of this makes sense. Very entertaining, very funny, and just a good time to be around, but I don't get it. So anyways, yeah, that was all well and good. Did I miss anything? I don't think so, dude. I can't rate it otherwise. But yeah, I went home and immediately got back to cracking, and and I won't say I didn't get a little more stressed, but like, I wasn't stressed, but I just knew that I was going to let it be whatever it's going to be, and I'm going to work as hard as I freaking can to get it done. So I wasn't really eating or sleeping much, and my mom came home, was like, why? You guys didn't go get food? You didn't eat any of this stuff? I was like, no, I've been eating M&Ms, I haven't been doing anything. So yeah, I was stressed, and I was doing what I could, and I'm texting the people also, and that kind of brought something back up to me, because they're like, hey, is it almost done? I'm sending the trailers around. I was like, is it out right now? The thing, I was like, no, it's not. I mean, I'm gonna release like half of it, part one. I'm sorry. I know I badgered you guys to do all these lines, but it's gonna be what it's gonna be, and they were super understanding. I almost said it's understandable, but they were understandable. I could understand them. And Shayna, one of the people cast in the play, she was like, because I was saying how like stressed, like I'm sorry I can't get this done. She said, well, you're not doing this for just this Halloween, right? There's other Halloweens that happen after this, so it's not like people just can't enjoy it otherwise. So whatever you have done, it's going to be enjoyed for the future and forever. And I was like, and I broke down and started crying. I'm kidding. No, but I was like, that's a great perspective. Why didn't I think of that?
Why didn't I think of that?
And that helped a lot because I've just kind of been thinking, I was like, yeah. Because in my head, I was like, worst case scenario is not that bad. That's where my optimistic point of view was. Like, I can handle the worst case. Worst case, no problem. I don't want it, but I can take it. But with that little spin, what she said, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So that now I haven't even finished it yet, to be completely honest. I'm still working on the second half and the part 2, the last couple chapters. But just knowing, I was like, well, all I gotta do is get it done by next Halloween now. So either she helped me or enabled some procrastinating behavior. But either way, much appreciated. Yeah, what else is happening, dude? Man, I gotta tell you, it's getting colder, and I know I keep talking about this, dude, but I can't handle it, guys. I don't know what it is about me. I've had my theories, my scientific methods, where I go, hey, you know what? Maybe it's because I was raised a little bit in the South for just the particular time that developed such a warmer climate, right? Like, I don't run warm. Everyone in this house runs warm. They run hot, okay? They'll walk out, they'll leave the windows open, turn the AC on, doors, whatever. Dude, I'll brush my teeth, spit it out, and it turns into a snowball on the way down. I'm cold, okay? I live my life after freaking August and so on until March or April. I live with constant shivers and jitters, and I don't like it, dude. I don't. I run cold. I do really well in the warm climate, which is great. It's fun because everyone else is like dying, and I'm like putting on mittens, dude, while they're sweating. But yeah, they're all happy. They're like, yeah, it's nice in here. How's the temperature? Oh, it's good. It's good. I'm like, well, we're all happy. We're all enjoying. Well, I'm not, Doug.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm beginning to come around.
Yeah, everyone seems to be coming around. Well, I'm not, Doug.
I'm freezing. Okay. But that's life, dude. That's life. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to move out and just keep a constant temperature in my house at 92 degrees because that's where I thrive. I'm like I need a heat lamp on me, like a lizard or a freaking iguana. I need to be feeling good, okay? I need a heat rock. I need a warm, heated blanket. Like, I need to live life. And that's why these freaking big beams and stuff, and I'm wearing the longer sleeve, and I'm putting the hat on, feeling good and feeling cozy. It makes me feel a little bit better inside, but, you really just do what you can do. What else has been going on per se? Nothing much. The World Series is still going on. World Series isn't too much interesting for me, unfortunately. I wish it was, but I don't like the Astros. I'm glad they stomped the Yankees out, but man, it's just hard. It's hard when your team gets so far and get eliminated. And it sucks because like in baseball it works on a payroll. Okay, like you have a market basically like what your city or what your team is, so we're Cleveland. Cleveland's not drawing the biggest tickets. We're not drawing the biggest names. And it's like a constant loop of you don't have as much money to afford as better players as the other teams have. So New York, like for instance, Cleveland versus the New York Yankees. New York Yankees, huge payroll. Freaking, I don't know, it was like 220 million. I have no idea. I can't remember, but it was enormous. It was egregious. They're a main freaking city. There's tours. People are going in there. They're charging a lot to go into the park. So their revenue stream and all the money that they make is a lot more than rinky-dink Cleveland. So we have like a 40 mil versus their 200 or whatever it is. So they can afford the best players, these smashing home run hitters. And you can just keep buying and upgrading and getting the best things, which only brings more revenue. And you keep feeding this cycle while we're like, we're just going to try and keep on getting the most out of what we can. And it sucks, dude, because your city or whatever determines your future. And in a way, listen, I don't want to say I understand oppressed people, but in a way I can at least say I get it, and it's horrible. It's not fair that just because, this city is right here and just the way that it is and the way that it looks and the way that it acts and in its particular geometry and geography, that it does not do as well as these other bigger cities. Okay? So I want to pay cap like in the NFL. Like, you only have so much money you can spend on players. It's equal. It's a lot of fairness, but it's definitely not fair, especially like in sports wise. that I can't get, we can't have the same amount of money and spend it equally. It's like we go into a dollar store and saying, hey, you get $20, try and buy the best things you can do and make your best Halloween costume. And then I give the other person 120, and they're like, oh, I'm going to be able to make a better costume than you are because I can get way better pieces and more stuff and whatever. So yeah, it's really unfortunate, but it is what it is. Oh, but yeah, dude, I feel for the oppressed people. It's rough out there, guys. It's rough, and I feel especially for the Cleveland teams, man. I feel for the baseball people who aren't in the World Series. We're us. I think that's just about everything I have to talk about. I know I've just kind of been all over the place. I shouldn't have started the episode off with me being stressed and manic and whatever, but that's life. Sometimes you just are, and that's just the way that it is. Some things are just bad, and some things are just great. Like as we're rolling into this, look how I'm twisting it. I'm so good. We're twisting it and we're going into this nice, beautiful November season, which in turn rolls into Christmas. And we're bringing a lot of festivity and happiness and joy. And it's nice, dude. It's just nice. When things are nice, there's no real explanation for it, Okay? You guys know what what nice things are. It's like a bubble bath. Or the sunshine, the weather's good. So when I say, oh, it's nice out, they don't say, hey, well, what do you mean by that? I say, it's just nice. It's just nice. There's no other further explaining that needs to be done outside of, it's just nice, dude. It's nice out, and I'm happy and I'm excited. Speaking of things that aren't nice, dude, I was wearing a pair of pajama pants. This is just real quick. I was wearing a pair of pajama pants that I got. They were hand-me-down from my younger brother, so they were like hand-me-backs, hand-me-ups, hand-me-overs. I don't know. But he just didn't want them, and I was like, why? These are super nice, super cozy. But it was like the drawstring, the things they only had one drawstring, and they were like brand new. One of the buttons was like missing somehow, and the pockets, this is the biggest part, the pockets, your pockets usually go in forward this way. They went backwards, okay? So imagine, it's like so easy for someone else to pickpocket me from this way. I was like, what's going on? You can easily just come and hug, steal. So I felt my keys and my wallet, my phone, they were constantly falling out of my pants, and I went to the store like this because I have no shame. And I was walking around and I just can't believe it. I don't know if this is a manufactured pair, so I just want to put it out to pajama pant makers that people are getting ready for their holiday season because it's the pajama pant season, right? That's what the cold months are because it's freezing. So if people are if this is a new thing, right? Maybe this wasn't a defective pair. If this is a new thing that people are trying to employ and start doing because they were new, don't, okay? Because it's a sucky way to feel. You're like, it's weird. Okay, I've used pockets my whole life, and immediately just the inverting of it, putting it the wrong direction, I'm like, I don't know how to get in there, dude. How do I get into my pockets? And they're just backwards, but it was just funny and it was silly, but it wasn't nice. But I'll tell you what, not wearing them and wearing just normal pants and normal pockets is nice, and there's no further explaining. Guys, thank you so much. This has been Full Circus. My name has, and as always will be, Tristan Sartoris. I will see you in the next episode, which I think may or may not be a Thanksgiving episode. I don't know. I think we're having Thanksgiving early, but I'll get back to you guys on that. Anyways, guys, thank you so much. I will see you later. Now, remember, if you're feeling stressed, use yourself or me. I don't know. I don't know if I'm comforting to only me or maybe I'm just comforting everybody. But I love you guys. See ya. Peace.